We're gearing up and excited to ride the candymountainexpress trail located in central Utah. This 15.8-mile rail trail runs between the towns of Elsinore and the Big Rock Candy Mountain Resort in the Marysvale Canyon. So let's lift a foot and explore this trail.
So that was the recommendation. Take off here from Elsinore Park. So right where we just took off, that was the community center. It's actually an old public school, complete with vintage bell on top. And then right from there, you can just go down a couple blocks, hang a left. We will have to cross a highway, but I believe there's a crossing signal there, and we'll be at the trailhead.
Elsinore Park is an ideal starting point, offering picnic areas, restrooms, and a water pump. Another parking option is the gas station directly across from the trail's northern terminus, which welcomes bikers with restrooms and refreshments.
We are ready to roll. Let's lift a foot.
Let's go, honey.
Great thing about riding these trails in person like this is we learn something from the very first moment we get to the trailhead. For instance, I did not know that this was also considered part of the Old Spanish Trail.
The Candy Mountain Express follows part of the historic Old Spanish Trail, a rugged 19th century trade route active from the late 1820s to the early 1850s, linking Santa Fe, New Mexico to Los Angeles, California. Traders would travel this path with pack mules carrying woolen goods west, returning with horses and mules for California. When traders reached this point in Utah, they faced a critical choice: continue through the longer but gentler Long Valley route, or take the shorter, more direct path through the narrow and dramatic Marysvale Canyon. The canyon saved the traders time, but its steep walls and unpredictable river made it a risky gamble. Today's smooth paved trail follows that same steep canyon route once chosen by the more ambitious traders nearly 2 centuries ago.
So the start of the trail actually begins next to a highway, and normally I would not be a big fan of that, but this particular highway, you've got a separate lane here for your biking that's beautifully maintained, and you get this wonderful wide open vista of the valley here and the mountains in the distance. And that is our destination. We're going to be riding through a slot canyon, the Candymountainexpress. Originally, this was an old rail line, thus rail trail, and it was decommissioned. The last train ran on it in, I believe, 1976 or so. I don't know when exactly the trail was converted to a rail trail, but it's now become this connector trail from Elsinore, Utah, down to the resort.
The Marysville branch of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad was constructed in the late 1800s to serve Utah's rural and mining communities, and was primarily for freight such as timber, livestock, and minerals. By the mid-20th century, competition from highways and trucks, combined with declines in local mining and logging industries, led to reduced traffic. Freight service dwindled through the 1960s and 70s, and the line was fully abandoned in the 1980s. After years of disuse, this corridor was repurposed and officially inducted as the Candymountainexpress Bike Trail in the early 2000s, preserving this historic transportation route for recreational use.
So the big headline for us is right before we decided to ride the trail, right before we got here, you can see off in the distance over here on the mountain, there's a new wildfire, which reminds me to talk a little bit about trail conditions. This trail has been newly paved, and you'll see it is smooth as glass. There are some patch cuts, but we'll update that as we go if that changes at all. But the main concern, obviously, when you're biking in the West for trail conditions are things like wildfire, which even if the fire doesn't threaten the trail, it can pass over the trail, creating trail condition issues. It can also create smoke, which can limit your visibility, but also flash flooding, sudden rains and things that can very quickly turn trail conditions hazardous. But we have beautiful weather today, just a bit of smoke on the mountain. That wildfire is already about 9 to 10% contained, so we're not expecting any issue, and it is, as you can see, we're headed south here and it's moving to the northeast, so we should be fine.
Arriving at our lodging in Richfield to ride the trail, the Monroe Canyon fire had just started. Back home in the Midwest, we're used to tornadoes, not wildfires, so this was a very new experience for us. Our hotel actually had firefighters and evacuees that were staying there also, and we learned a lot just by talking with them at breakfast. One very useful resource they shared was a website that tracks wildfires, their percentage contained, acres affected, and evacuation notices. And although not a replacement for official emergency notices, it is now a go-to site before any of our rides out west.
So if you're watching this video in your living room in Pennsylvania or Illinois or Minnesota or Indiana, where you're at about 600 to 800 feet above sea level, here we're about 5,400 feet. So if you are pedaling this without an e-bike, keep that in mind. There is an altitude difference, so exertion definitely feels different. From the trailhead in Elsinore, now getting down toward the resort, it's been downhill most of the way. We're riding down into this canyon. We're looking forward to seeing these breathtaking sheer walls around us. But we know at the end of the ride, in about 100-degree heat at this altitude, we'll be updating on how that ride goes.
The Candymountainexpress Trail sits at a much higher elevation than most places in the United States, winding through Utah's Marysvale Canyon at about 5,351 feet. Utah's average elevation is approximately 6,000 feet, making it one of the highest average states in the U.S., ranked third only after Colorado and Wyoming. For comparison, Chicago is at about 600 feet, New York City at about 33 feet, and Atlanta at roughly 1,050 feet above sea level. While the trail itself has gentle grades thanks to its former life as a railroad, the entire route keeps you riding at about a mile above sea level. So if you're coming from a location with a lower elevation, you might notice you breathe a bit faster or tire a little sooner. That's just your body adjusting to the thinner air. A steady pace, plenty of water, and time to take in the scenery will help you make the most of this high-altitude ride.
Look at the alfalfa fields. They just stretch on forever. It's so funny out here in cattle country, the alfalfa fields and the small farms that raise them and store up the bales for the local farmers, they're the equivalent of gas stations out here. They're storing up fuel for the cattle. Huge circular sprinkler sets that then grow wave after wave of alfalfa. They mow it down, bale it up, and people pull up like it's their Home Depot for their bales of alfalfa for their cattle. And it's a constant smell. You can smell it. It's like a lemony, earthy, grassy smell.
The circular alfalfa fields we saw were part of a center pivot irrigation system, something I had never seen before and I found really interesting. The system was invented in the 1940s by an American engineer and became popular because it waters crops efficiently while reducing evaporation in arid regions like Utah.
Oh, we're just working our way down. Oh, look straight ahead. Do you see how we're getting ready to snake into the valley?
And it looks like there might be a trailhead there, so if people want to skip next to the road, then it looks like they can park up there, but we'll check it out. Yeah,
if you just want to ride the canyon, if that's your thing, it looks like there is a trailhead about 10 miles down from Elsinore. That would give you an easy 5-mile ride through the canyon and 5 back, but I'd encourage you to try the whole thing. It's an easy ride, and you really get some beautiful wide open views, and certainly the local vibe here. Yeah, this is probably going to be a waypoint to overlook.
The Big Rock Candy Mountain Trailhead, located off of Highway 89, has great historical signage and bathrooms, but more importantly, it marks the point where the towering cliffs begin in less than a mile.
Says the Sevier River.
Ah, okay, yeah, the Sevier River. Wow, it is really flowing.
This was our first glimpse of many to come of the beautiful river. At 385 miles long, it is the longest river that is entirely within Utah.
Unofficial parking, but you can get your bike up.
Yeah, it looks like some people bring their bikes up here. Certainly, this is the headline section of the trail, so you could hike this. Actually, you could hike that whole loop, both the paved and unpaved portion, back around the back of the mountain.
From the dirt parking area, the few people we saw stayed on the paved trail, although we did see evidence of a few small unofficial hiking paths that branched off. Later, however, at the Big Rock Candy Mountain Resort, the landscape opens up to well-worn loops, spurs, and connectors, inviting exploration in every direction. Biking and hiking are popular here, along with riding ATVs on the rugged, unpaved trails, and the resort offers a full line of recreation equipment rentals, along with maps, making it easy to plan your own adventure.
This whole slot canyon feels like its own ecosystem. I bet there are specific birds and reptiles that live just in this area. There's got to be.
From the trail, the surrounding cliffs and hillsides provide habitat for a variety of wildlife. Birds of prey such as red-tailed hawks and golden eagles can often be seen soaring overhead, and black bears and mountain lions are present, though they are rarely seen along the paved trail. One of the area's most unique residents is the Utah prairie dog, a small burrowing rodent found only in Utah. Once endangered, these now threatened animals live in colonies, creating intricate tunnels that sometimes shelter other species, like the burrowing owl.
Oh, we have an informational plaque, honey.
Good. Maybe they'll tell us a little bit about the wildlife coming up here.
Oh, and there's the tunnel. No, this is the tunnel.
Oh, okay. This is...
And it is closed, so you cannot...
Okay, so this is Big Eagle Tunnel.
I got varying information on the research, whether we could ride through it. And it is... No, you cannot ride through it, but you can walk up to it. Okay, well, let's do our walking here. It says, yep, it's Eagle Rock Tunnel, not Big Eagle. Eagle Rock Tunnel completed 1896. It's 200 feet in length, and I guess if you poke your head in there, you can see the smoke from the old locomotives up on the ceiling. We got to go check this out.
About 3 miles from the midpoint trailhead and 4 miles from the southern terminus, the Eagle Rock Tunnel was part of the Marysvale branch of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad. The tunnel was carved from solid rock using hand drills, blasting powder, and later dynamite, and was a remarkable engineering feat for the time. Over the years, erosion loosened the surrounding rock, creating a constant risk of falling debris, and with rail traffic declining, the tunnel was eventually closed in 1976. It was too expensive to bring up to code to incorporate into the recreational trail, so today it remains fenced off to protect visitors from unstable rocks overhead, but its weathered entrance is still a striking reminder of the canyon's railroading past.
Oh, look at the Sevier River. It is really flowing. This is July, so it's the dry season, and yet it's full of water, so...
This region has a dry climate, with most rain falling in the late summer during monsoon storms and some snow in the wintertime. Annual precipitation is usually less than 12 inches, so the Sevier River is fed mainly by snowmelt from the Sevier Plateau and surrounding mountain ranges, which provide the region's most reliable source of water. This part of the trail was formed with the combined work of ancient volcanoes and persistent river erosion. Millions of years ago, volcanic activity created layers of mineral-rich rocks. Then, the Sevier River carved through the volcanic layers, cutting deep into the rock to form the canyon's dramatic walls. The cliffs in this area show bands of reds and oranges from iron oxides, while yellows and whites come from potassium-rich layers. The vivid colors are what inspired early visitors in the late 1800s to name this area Big Rock Candy Mountain, after the popular 1928 song, as the layered slopes reminded them of candy, and the name stuck. While the volcanoes are long extinct, the region still shows signs of underground heat. Just a 10-minute drive from our starting point in Elsinore Park, the free-access Red Hill Hot Springs bubble up from geothermal activity. The naturally heated waters carry dissolved minerals such as calcium and magnesium, which not only give the springs their character, but are also known to leave the skin feeling silky smooth.
We are 15 miles. I mean, even without our side trip through the tunnel, we're at 15, so we're going to be coming up on the resort any minute here, I think.
As we were nearing the end of the trail, the geological formations got even more beautiful. The straight-line fractures in the rock look like artwork, and the stacks stretch dramatically toward the sky.
Oh my gosh, look at that rock formation to the right. Isn't that crazy?
Oh man, that is nuts.
It looks like a piece of artwork with the cuts in it.
360-degree awesomeness.
The lines are natural fractures in the volcanic layers, accentuated over time by wind and water erosion, and the towering rock spires, often called hoodoos in Utah, form when harder rock resists erosion, while softer surrounding rock wears away, leaving those dramatic columns rising from the slopes.
Look at that stone pillar over there.
I'm glad this trail is smooth because I'm wandering all over it.
I am too. I'm thinking, all right. Don't ride into the river. Don't ride into the river. Oh, here's another stone column to your left, just soaring straight up.
Oh my gosh! Look at that!
There's another one right behind it. His little brother was hiding behind it. It's like its own little monument valley.
With our turnaround point approaching, I couldn't help but reflect on how quickly the journey had passed. Each bend in the trail seemed to bring something new. Towering cliffs, colorful rock layers, and glimpses of the Sevier River flowing steadily beside us. It's the kind of ride that feels timeless while you're on it.
Up, and I saw what looks to be like, yeah, there's some additional trails right there. And I can just see the glint of the top of maybe a railroad car or two. Up, I see it.
That's the places you can stay that you can rent. So yeah, we are getting very close to the resort.
We're already at the resort. We're just rolling in. My GPS says 16 miles.
Yeah, that is part of, those cars are part of the resort. They look really fun.
Actually, that straight ahead, it looks like there's a trailhead there too with pit toilets and some information.
The trailhead at the southern terminus, known as the Whistle Stop, is accessed from Highway 89 and offers both parking and restrooms, making it yet another great location to begin or end the journey. From here, a beautiful iron bridge spans the Sevier River, linking the trailhead with the colorful Caboose Village, where visitors can stay in refurbished train cabooses. This one-of-a-kind lodging experience is very popular, so reservations are highly recommended. A short distance up from the trailhead, additional options include cabins, campgrounds, and a hotel, ensuring a range of accommodations for travelers. After one last glimpse of the Iron Bridge and the brightly painted Caboose Village, it was time to make the journey back. Total mileage out and back for the day, 32 miles. Thanks for joining us on this scenic ride, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to support our channel and keep exploring more great trails.